joining, because this is the interest that you show will pave the path for the spread of natural farming across. As Rahul explained, I'm associated with the agriculture trust, but Rahul, I have been shifted to BVK now from September 2022. There I am taking care of the government projects which have been handling in SSAST. So that has been all the government projects have gone to BVK, where so I am under social projects agriculture vertical. So that is one thing. And as he said, it's almost a decade now. From 2014, when I started, I did not even know what this natural or sustainable agriculture was, because my background is very different. And but it's all Gurudev's grace, and it was his decision, or his, he is showing us the path. So we believe in that, and that's how I landed up here, learning and teaching. So then a time came when I got associated with a lot of government projects. Now I am also a member on the panel of Manraga, Andhra Pradesh. I'm on their panel, as well as I'm on a panel where we are creating standards for natural farming in the country. So until now, what was happening was everybody said sustainable agriculture, and there were no set standards for natural farming in our country. Whatever we were doing, even the government projects, were all oriented towards organic farming. All our Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana and Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, such programs were all based on the organic standards. Again, that is defined by the US FDA. So now Government of India has set its mind, and because there's a lot of pressure too from the government, that they have to set standards separately for natural farming. What are these standards and how the certification is going to be under this system. So this is a separate system. Whoever wants to know about it, later on we will talk. But today's topic is how we can overcome this climate change, what we are facing today due to global warming. That's the main thing. And what causes the global warming, and how we can counter it in our small little way as consumers, as farmers, or the producers, both, and also the processors, also the merchants. Everybody are involved in that chain. From the time the food is produced till it reaches our plate, a lot of things happen to that produced food. Agriculture produce. It undergoes a lot of, processing, value additions, storage, everything. So storing again, you have to take care, extending the shelf life. All these things happen, which we are not aware so much until we are into that business. Okay. Even we as natural farming instructors, what we do is we teach up to the production. But beyond the production, what happens later on, how it is stored, how it is processed, how value addition happens, and then how it is packaged, how it gets transported. All these things we need to know. First of all, let us have a glimpse of what exactly we are doing in our lives, just like, common consumers, as consumers. First, let us see. So what we are doing is, as we all know, food is very important, whether we are consumers, producers, or merchants, anybody in that whole system. So food is the main source that drives us into so many activities that we are involved in. Without that energy which we draw from the food, we cannot move forward at all. So this food is produced by the plant first. That's the primary producer, which feeds the entire creation. The rest of the creation is dependent on this primary producer, which is the plant. It has got the ability to produce food because it has got, God has endowed it with such a beautiful thing that its leaves have the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll have got the power to synthesize food, taking the sunlight and drawing the water and taking the carbon dioxide from the air. So the three energy that it takes, the solar, the water, the air, wind energy, all this is synthesized into and made it into a chemical. It's converted into chemical energy. It gets converted and then it is stored in the plant for further use. So the plant, what it does is, then it keeps some for itself, and then it produces, majority it produces into flowers, fruits, and grains. And that becomes our food for us and for all the rest of the creation. Okay, most of us eat the plant directly, but some of the animals or some of us also eat indirectly because we feed on to the other animals which eat the plant. So herbivorous, carnivorous, all these things you understand. So ultimately, it is the plant that gives food. That's the main annadatta here. Okay, the plant is the first annadatta it gives. And then we also should understand that we have come very late on this planet. After God set everything for us, the nature set everything for us and made the conditions conducive and the plant ready so that it gives you food and other animals around, then we came as men, as human beings. Okay, so everything was ready for us. And what is this nature? We all know on a mega level, a macro level, whatever you may call. At one level, we are all the 5 elements combined under the different permutations, combinations. Some become man, some becomes animal, something becomes the bird, something becomes, the reptile, the worms. But ultimately, all of us have the plants, all are having the combined 5 elements in us. And this 5 elements is also present outside where we are living. So the environment around us is also made up of 5 elements. We cannot say no because sunlight is there, air is there, water is there, the land on which we are, it's all there, and the space. So all these 5 elements. And English is okay, no? किसी को हिंदी चाहिए क्या?
English is okay, madam. No problem.
Thank you. Otherwise, Hindi, English, it will take little time. But if anybody wants, please stop me. So this compatibility, what we have, the nature has made, what is in us and outside is the same. So very beautifully, we are living on this planet. However, man is meddling very much with the nature. Mindless meddling that man is doing without, having knowledge, out of ignorance. That is causing the imbalance. For example, we are all having 5 elements in our body. Are we not having? Yes, no? Anybody says, no, I don't have water? No, we all have water. We have, what all we have? We have the Jataragni, which keeps every 3 hours, it gets activated. Then you eat food and it keeps your body warm. And if the body is not warm, we cannot live. When the temperature falls below something, that means Ram Nam Satya hai. If the temperature increases, then you have fever. And if the water is too much, then it becomes difficult for you to breathe. If the water is less, you get dehydrated. Like this, see how this imbalance causes imbalance in the body. Similarly, an imbalance in the nature causes imbalance in the nature too. Too much of heat, it's very difficult for everybody, for the plants, for the animals, for the man, for everybody. Too much of floods, is it welcome? Not at all welcome. It causes so much havoc. And too much of fire, that is warmth, also is not good. Water is also not good. Too much of gales of wind, carrying away everything. See, when there's typhoon and all, what happens? It just carries away. So those things are also not very welcome. So any imbalance outside causes a disturbance to the creation, to the creatures that are there. And any imbalance within our body also causes an imbalance to us. So now what is causing so much of an imbalance of late? For example, this is today is May 6th, I am sitting in a place where it is supposed to be very hot, 42 degrees, 40 degrees minimum we used to have. But today I am coolly sitting here without AC because it's raining heavily. We never thought of. For the past 3 years, I am just watching that hardly we are having a severe summer, which we used to have from the time I was born. I am also quite old now. I have come to this. I have seen only the hot summer, the very severe winter, and then extreme weathers in our place. But then everything was in its place. The cycle was very smooth. But now it is not so. See, last year when I was coming to Bangalore, I hardly saw summer in Bangalore. It was raining and raining and raining. I don't know now how it is. But It is like this everywhere. Did you ever hear in Rajasthan or Delhi during this time heavy rains? No, it is happening now. Of late, this unseasonal, untimely, heavy, and unwelcome rains at a time when the standing crops are there, or when you don't expect the least disturbance, this disturbance is happening. Similarly, 5 years ago, very severe summers we used to have, long drought, long stretched summers. And then sometimes the winter used to set late, late setting of winter. All this, see, as human beings, somehow we adjust, What happens if too much of summer, we put on our AC, we carry an umbrella, we do all these things. But what about the plants that are there outside, which is standing in the field? What about the animals? It is causing a lot of problem. Now, when you see the globe, how is the globe? How is it placed? See, you see all the European countries which used to have a very, very, ideal temperature during summer, the temperate, they used to call, that's called a temperate zone. But what is happening? Where is temperature? It's going to 40 degrees. Spain had 40 degrees last time. France had 40 degrees last time. Never heard of such things. And then we saw floods in Saudi Arabia, or in the sand, in the desert. So these things are all very unheard of what we are seeing. Then we see forest fire. Okay. We never heard of forest floods, but we hear a lot of forest fire happening. Everything is happening because there is an imbalance that is across the globe. There is an imbalance in the environment, which is directly, indirectly affecting our lives and the lives of other creatures around us. All the animals, the birds, the reptiles, so many things that are the occupants of this planet. This planet is no longer that kind of an ideal planet, what it used to be. Or maybe it is the ideal. We do not know. People who have faced much extreme weather might say this is ideal. We really do not know. Now, what is happening? How we are becoming responsible for this kind of an environment is what we have to look at. That is all the mega picture what I gave you. But coming back to what we are doing. So we are consuming a lot of chemical contaminated food, which is grown with a lot of chemicals. You all know that I don't have to say. This is just a depiction saying that in one apple, so many types of chemicals are present. Apart from that, we are also consuming knowingly, unknowingly, ignorantly, the genetically modified food, which we are not aware because we do not have that kind of an awareness. When you pick something from the supermarket or the market, you do not really know whether it is genetically modified. So just to give you a glimpse and to an understanding, when you cut an apple, expecting it to be an apple, it could be an apple orange, like this. So that means the genes have been tinkered with. So mostly the maize that comes from mostly all the maize-based, when you see very closely, when you go to a supermarket and read the label, if the producer or the seller is fair enough, transparent, he will write their GMO food. Otherwise, most of the vegetables, about 22 types of vegetables in our market are under trials, and very surreptitiously they are selling it. We are hardly able to make out what we are eating. So there is an unethical combination of the, these genes. For example, they combine a human female cell with the rice cell. You do not know whether it is human being or the rice that you are eating. Second, the fish cell with tomato cell. It's a tomato or a fish. Like this unethical combination, interspecies genetic engineering. It is not the same species. See, if you do same maize to maize, okay, it is hybridization. If you do plant kingdom to plant kingdoms, to some extent it is acceptable. But when you do plant kingdom with animal kingdom, that is not at all acceptable. Okay, so like this unethical, and more so, why GMO is required when it is not given a positive result anywhere in the world. Till now, everybody have complained about GMOs because it's affecting their health in some manner or the other. Nowhere we have got a positive result. So many countries who are very conscious and want to protect their citizens have put a ban or have taken a moratorium not to introduce the GM food for some times. But some countries like US, which say, I don't care. And when we are able to eat and live, what is the problem with you? Such questions, those countries which question like this, there are such countries too. So, however, though we have very, vocally opposed GM, that BT cotton and BT brinjal still we are opposing. But now mustard is also come. But still, there is a way out for us as citizens of this country. So then the food we buy, see like this, we are buying very recklessly, means we don't understand what we are buying. We are buying with such packaged food. So much of plastic we are bringing into our houses. And finally, what are we doing? We are impacting our environment. And this environment, as if you are art of living, if you have heard Gurudev speaking, what is this environment? From where your food comes, water comes, and air comes. Annamaya Kosha. Gurudev says, no, Panchakosha. In Panchakosha, this 5 sheath or the 5 layers. Outer layer is your environment, which is giving you the food, which is keeping you alive on this planet by giving you the food, water, and air. Do you draw just like that from within you? No, these three things we are drawing from outside. And if your outside is like this, and if your food is going to go inside your body from such an environment, just imagine how it could be. So how we are impacting our environment, that's why now environment is giving you back, is it not? And also the food that we buy from a very long distance it travels and comes, the food chain or the food miles that it travels. And when it travels, what happens? What happens? For example, I'll tell you the other way around. Now the food prices have gone up. Many things have gone up. Why the prices have gone up? We have a shortage of what we have? Fuel. No? Well, that's why we are still with, we are not opposing Russia. So much of politics is also there. So much of, so the whole globe, it is all the global dynamics have changed now because of this fuel. Now, what happens when you bring your food from a distance? The food travels, that is, you are burning the fossil fuels. When you burn the fossil fuel, you impact the environment. When you impact the environment, that is, you are leaving your carbon footprints, increases. So when you do a little bit of gardening at least and bring it directly, at least your vegetables and your some herbs and all, directly from your garden to your plate, fine, it doesn't travel much. But as we go forward, from a farmer, if he produces, brings it to the market, and then you buy and then bring it to your house. If you go to a supermarket, again, 2-3 things get added there because the farmer will leave it at a place where it will be graded, packed, and then it will be brought to the supermarket, and then you buy and come. If you order on Zomato, Swiggy, all these food delivery services, you are adding miles to your food. That is, your food is traveling lot of miles and coming and reaching you. The more you make your food travel, the more impact you have on the environment. And we are leaving a lot of carbon footprint. But still, there is hope. When you understand, when you become aware, you can reverse this. How can you reverse? We'll go from right to left. We can manage the waste. We can recycle the waste. We can switch to more what energy? Clean energy. All the hydrogen, whatever our Nitin Gadkari is doing, electrical vehicles, all these coming up with wind energy, the nuclear energy, all these are clean energy. They don't impact the environment much. Solar energy, all these are, they don't impact like the fossil fuels. And then you try to reduce the emissions. This is where the global warming happens. Now, what causes the emissions also we should see. And one more thing is, we are buying food from a lot of distance and we are very proud to say, oh, my almonds have come from California. Yes, almonds will come from California, but see the distance that is traveling. So it's better to buy local and think of the globe. And also the processed food. The way the food is processed, to what an extent we process the food, that the more processing happens, more impact on the environment. How? It is because every layer of your processing, every process in that step, in that process, it involves a lot of our natural resources. It consumes what? It consumes energy, it consumes water. All these are natural resources which you need to preserve, but instead you are making it too fancy. Your life has become so fancy that we are not aware of this. We are thinking that is how, life should be easy. No, it will become very tough when the climate affects us. So what is the way out? Now in this diagram, we have to understand one thing. We will have to integrate our farm and the farm animals. Now what we are doing currently, we have poultry somewhere, your farm somewhere, your goshalas somewhere, and your farm elsewhere. So this distance, what's happening? The greenhouse gases which the animals are emitting, they're all coming out and they are getting accumulated there. But if they were together, the farm and the farm animals, what will happen then? Then gases like methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, all that is emitted into the atmosphere will be absorbed. Actually, the chemical reaction happens. It will combine with the hydroxyl, become carbon dioxide. And then your methane also gets converted. So there is a circular conversion of energy there. The plant takes the carbon dioxide, it releases the oxygen. The animal takes the oxygen, it releases methane, but again the methane gets converted. Like this, that circular movement of that thing should happen. Then we can ensure that we are reduce the carbon footprint on the environment. This is zero carbon footprint. We can achieve that. And then there's one more slide which I would like to show you. All the chemical fertilizers, which, how is that? I'm not able to see this, show this. Why is that? I'm not able to do this.
You want to show some another slide?
Another one, which is, I thought it's worth showing what exactly is causing this kind of a disturbance. Yeah, now I got it. So, most of the chemicals that we use, you're able to see, the other.
Yes.
Okay. So, that which we are using right now, have got a lot of minerals in it, and they go into the soil and they make the soil compact. The urea, the DAP, all these things which we are using, we have to use, that something we have to use, and we have been using ever since the Green Revolution. And when we had a very tough time in 1960s, and there was a lot of shortage of food, and the country could not feed its citizens. At that time, we had to resort to the public loan from USA. USA was willing to give food as loan to many countries, not only India, to many countries, because it wanted to improve its diplomatic strategy with many countries. It wanted them in their fold. So they were giving food as loan, and we were taking that food as loan, but that was not able to last. That was not able to, it's not a long-term solution. So the government thought it's better that we switch to Green Revolution, where the other countries were reaping good harvest then. So the government thought it's better. So we also switched to the Green Revolution, where a lot of chemicals were used as fertilizers and pesticides. Now, these fertilizers, mainly the urea, DAP, and such things, which were used in the soil, have a lot of minerals, and these minerals go in and compact the soil. Okay. This compaction of the soil does not allow the roots to grow further beyond their area in search of food and water and nutrient. So what happens is, when the soil becomes compact, whenever there is a untimely rain or otherwise also excess rain during monsoon also, then either the water tends to flow away from the farm far away, carrying away all the nutrition that is there, eroding the soil and taking away what is necessary for the plant also, it will get leached. That's one thing. Second thing, if there is an untimely, unseasonal rain when the standing crop is there, that time what happens is it may flow or it may not flow. If there is no slope, it will remain there, and then the water doesn't seep into the soil. When the water doesn't seep into the soil, it is very dangerous because it rots the plant. And when the plant gets rotten, then the crop is lost. This is how farmers are facing a very tough time now because of this unseasonal rain and because of the chemicals that they are using. So what is the answer for this? For them, the answer could be natural farming once again. For the entire globe, it is integrating the farm and the farm animals and practicing natural farming. And when you practice natural farming, automatically the recycle happens there itself. And then the soil becomes more porous. When the soil is more porous, then the permeability, that is the water can permeate, go down deep inside, and also air can circulate. Now this permeability is what is called the porosity. If there is porosity in the soil, then all this happens. When there is porosity, excess rain, it seeps into and doesn't cause all these trouble. Second, when there is no rain also, it allows the roots to go as far as possible and take the water and the nutrition. So this is how the soil is the key to overcome the climate change that's happening. Okay. Now in India, we are spending about almost 98 billion US dollars every year towards all these chemicals and subsidies that the government gives. And a lot of pesticides are sprayed, knowingly, unknowingly, because the farmer is so ignorant. And also he is so scared of his livelihood that he thinks the more dosage I give, it's better for me, I can control the pest. No, it does not happen. So unnecessarily, only a portion of it, what reaches the plant, reaches, rest, it remains in the air. So you are polluting the air, then it trickles down and contaminates the groundwater. So you're polluting the groundwater and also the soil, because it's going to trickle down the soil. No? So the soil is also contaminated and compaction of the soil happens. And we as consumers, because somebody's ignorance is also causing a lot of trouble to us. We are also ignorant because when it comes to food, you are clueless from where the food is coming, who is producing the food, how the food is produced, what type of chemicals goes into it, the methodology that he uses, nothing you are aware of. What you see, because we are also in the cities, we pick up all the packets and the brand, what is there is all that you know. For example, you are drinking a cup of tea. What is there? Supposing it's Tata tea or a Taj Mahal or whatever, you know that only. But from where the leaves have been picked, who has grown, how it was grown, how it was processed, what chemicals went into making that and packing it and remaining so for a long period of time. So this we are clueless, whereas the rest of the things, whether you're buying a car or your computer or your house or anything, you can make a search on the Google and see, and Google will tell you the price comparison, the company that is being sold, the reviews from the customers, everything you'll get. But when it comes to food, it is very difficult. Very much it is suppressed. The information is suppressed by people who want it to be suppressed. And they are not ordinary people. They are all very big people who control the entire system. They control the research. They don't let the results out. If somebody honestly publishes, that material is taken away within no time. So such things, when they are there, what is happening to us? We are consuming a cocktail of chemicals morning, night, every time that we eat the food. So what is our body? Within no time, the food that goes into our body gets digested and becomes a part of our body. So we should be aware. For that, what should we do? We should be, first of all, we should encourage, bring awareness. If you are a producer, please do it so that you will not only save yourself, your family, your society, but everybody and the globe as such. So this greenhouse effect, what I was trying to say, this is causing the global warming. The carbon monoxide, the methane, and the nitrous oxide, these carbon dioxide, these are the main things which cause the global warming. That is, they warm up the atmosphere. When the atmosphere becomes warm, what happens? the glaciers melt, the snow melts, and flooding happens. And then all these, we have seen all this, and we are still seeing. So what is man? See, he's clueless. From all sides, he is bombarded with, now the weather, the environment is giving him back for all that he has done. So now what I wanted to explain, this is a real case study, which I want to show it to you. We have done in Kurnool, as Rahul explained. A lot of farmers have been trained over a period of time. Yes, we have trained, and we have a lot of projects going, across the country. But when I had the first time association with the government of Andhra Pradesh, there we had a lot of experiments, and we had some observations also. At a time when the standing crops were there in the month of October, and we were about to harvest the Rabi crop in a couple of months, that time suddenly it rained heavily. And as you can see here, wait. See, we have compared chemical versus natural. Chemical versus natural. The same crop. Castor, chemical, and natural. You see the difference. The naturally grown were able to withstand that heavy rain and stand erect. First, they get submerged. All of them get submerged. But within no time, they bounce back because the water seeps. Why? Because your chemical, when you put, I said, some mineral in the chemical makes the soil compact. Whereas natural, natural means all organic matter we use, the cow dung, the cow urine, the farm waste, all these things only we use. So those things go into making the soil more fertile, more porous, then the water seeps in. So this is one way of looking at, how climate resilient it is. And then we have seen maize. You see the maize, chemically grown maize, everything is gone, rotten. And onion, you see, chemically grown versus naturally grown. And paddy. So in each of these cases, you yourself can see how it is able to withstand sudden rain or, sudden such thing, untimely rain, unseasonal rain, unexpected. Then we had another case study. Now this is opposite to that rain now. So we were teaching in 2016, the farmers, we just started. And after that, one training we did and we came back to our place. And the second training we were about to go and it did not rain. In fact, I was very scared also. I don't know. I thought, what will I tell them if they are going to ask me some question about rain? And when we reached that place, we were really, it was such a big surprise. Though there was a dry spell for 42 days. You see, the sunflower bloomed in a naturally grown farm. Whereas in a chemically grown one, where, that is a senior retired IAS officer who is driving from Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Vijay Kumar, he visited and he saw the differences. Now, chemically grown sunflower, it was not able to bloom because it needs that water. Whereas the natural one, it could draw water because the soil was so porous. Similarly, you see onion, chemical versus natural. You see this maize, chemical versus natural. And also you see the black gram. So some of them we have drawn like this so that there's some comparison. So whether it is a dry spell, a long dry spell, the chemically grown will not withstand, whereas the natural ones, they withstand. And I've had many case studies and many testimonies from farmers who have vouched for this, that they've all had this experience, that sudden rain, hailstorm, the naturally grown ones were able to withstand. And they attribute it to environment itself. They said, because we are working towards the environment is supporting us. This is how they express their gratitude. So this is how, natural farming will be able to overcome climate change. And our country has given a big commitment in COP26 in France when our Prime Minister Modi went and he said we will drive sustainable agriculture to combat climate change. Otherwise, why our Prime Minister will give such a big assurance to the world? Yes, because he knows how this works. So that is why the government of India has taken upon itself. Now, as I said in the beginning, they are having a separate set for rules, regulations, certification, standardization of natural farming. And they are going to drive across the country in a very, very big manner. So this is how it is. And thank you so much for your patience. I hope you all like this. Yes, Rahul.
Yes, yes, of course, Umaji. Thank you so much. It was really, really for me when the session began. I also was very, very intrigued. What is happening because of climate change? There are unusual floods. There is forest burning,
Yes.
and small, small steps that we can take. So it was really, really informative, Umaji. Thank you so much. For the participants, if there are any questions you want to ask, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask.
We can, in a gallery view, we can.
Yeah, I'm putting it.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have any questions around this topic on natural farming, you have some time. We can take few questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the comparison between yield of a natural farm and chemical or chemically grown farms?
Yes. See, when you follow the package of practices that is prescribed, then we have seen in many cases, we have had this crop cutting experiments in Andhra Pradesh, that project where we did it. And we have seen that, it is equivalent or more. If I'm able, if I get that, I'll be able to, 1 minute, I have some crop cutting experiments, Excel sheet, I'll just show you. Then you'll have an idea. We have compared chemical versus natural, and in the same place, in the same village. So just a minute. So that you will understand. Yeah, I have this. See, this is the. Are you able to see this crop cutting experiments?
Yeah.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. This one you are able to see, I think. See, this is one place where if you are not able to see, I'll just read out for you. This farmer's name is Ishwar Reddy, and he is from Kontalapadu. That's a village name in a particular place in Kurnool. And see, ZBNF versus non-ZBNF. We have done this comparison. That is, they call in Andhra zero budget natural farming versus non is that chemical farming. Okay, so we'll see per acre what is, he has spent a very little amount because that's how it is. Natural farming does not, you don't have to incur a lot of what you call expenditure. But you see the yield. See, in natural farming, he got 23 quintals. And in non-natural, that is chemical, he got 20 quintals. This is chili. This is one crop. Okay, then we have another farmer by name Sanjeev Reddy. Like this, we have so many. See, in each village, this Sanjeev Reddy is from Uyalavada. Then we have one more village, Pudicherla. Like this, we have done crop cutting experiments because this is what the government also wants us to do. So what we do is we take 5 by 5 of a farm, where your standing crop is there. We measure out 5 by 5 meter, and then we cut the crop and measure it. Similarly, we go to a chemical farm and measure out 5 by 5, and then you harvest and see the yield. This is how the comparison is done. So all the crop cutting experiments have shown us that each of the, varied things, not only chilies, this is paddy now. This is paddy. And in this village, this is cotton. And in Chintalapalli village, don't know what it is. 1 minute. This again chili. Then this is paddy. Then this is maize. Across crops. This is brinjal, again, horticulture crop. This is onion. And this is paddy again. Like this, we have done across crops and across villages. We were given 33 villages. We have compared this crop cutting experiments. So I can tell you for sure that it does not reduce provided you do as it is prescribed. Many people, what they do not heed to the advice. They will just put once or twice the biofertilizer and say, oh, it's natural farming. No, it's not like that. It is natural farming, but do it properly. If you are lazy, don't make natural farming a failure. This is what our request is to everybody. Yes, I think this must have addressed your query.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, madam.
Yes, please.
This is Jagannath Mahapatra. Let me introduce myself as an avid gardener and I have keen interest in farming. So I have the early, when I was in class 10, I observed in our farm that for the first time we did some brinjal cultivation and they used some chemical fertilizer, I think urea or something. So yield was good, but then the soil becomes so hard,
Yes.
particularly that area. So from very early, I can see that what you said, that it compacts the soil.
Yes.
So that is very much I have observed also. My question is a follow-up to this, the earlier question. So, madam, if we see this yield is more, everything is fine, then why in the first place government adopted this during Green Revolution, this chemical fertilizer and pesticides?
Yes, as I explained, sir, that was a time when India was, the mortality rate was getting stabilized. Because of the medicines, we were able to survive some of the diseases and our population stabilized. The population was growing, but the food production wasn't growing as much as that. So there was, food security was not there at that point of time in our country. And just then, after it started around 1955. So we were just after the independence and we had our own problems coping with the problem. Then the government decided, instead of borrowing food from other countries, let us switch to Green Revolution. Now, see, at that point of time, what decision was taken by the people then. So we can only, try to logically understand that, that's all. But we don't know why they have, if there had been a proper production in this natural thing, then things would not have changed.
Okay.
Maybe
Got
people
it.
were not properly trained, nor there was proper guidance. The same now at this point of time, the state government of India is driving it again. The government of India then drove the Green Revolution. Government of India is driving this. So when government drives, it is different. When NGOs drive or some pockets, something happens, it is very different. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. Thank you. So maybe that the biofertilizer and all that we are using now, maybe that awareness or the technology and techniques were not there. So that may be also.
This we can always, always commend Palekarji for this, whatever he has done. He has, made it into a small capsule form, a formula. He has formalized these things. People were not aware how things need to be combined, this organic matter to be combined to get the best results. But that person, he worked for 26 years on this. He had a lot of trouble also. And then he worked out very nicely. Now everybody, you ask anybody, they'll say, Jivamrut means like this, like this, like this. That is because somebody worked on that and gave us a beautiful solution.
Yeah. Really, they're really assets of the country. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maji. Anyone, any questions? Or we can wrap up. It was a wonderful, wonderful session. At least for me, it was
Yes, sir.
enlightening. So, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question right now. So, my case of pomegranate, while we are doing natural, because I was pomegranates, the farmers which are growing pomegranates, usually they follow a practice of pruning it before the fruit is being derived. So, while we see in natural farming, we let it all decide. I mean, we let it all on nature. We don't interfere too much. So, pruning the pomegranate, is that a natural practice?
Now, let me ask you one question. Okay. Most of our festivals, they end by December. No? Most of our Hindu festivals, except for Shankranti. And then for all, I don't know which part of the country you belong to, but I would like to say that here, mostly in South, we tie that mango leaves, toranam. No? We tie that. And we invariably, all of us will pluck the mango leaves and come because we want for a festival. Okay. We think we are doing it for a festival. But again, that is also one sort of reducing the thing so that the food for the plant that it has, instead of diverting to all these things, it will divert to the fruit formation. That's why they reduce the burden on the plant. So it's a natural practice only, what we are doing. That's why I gave you this example of these mango leaves. You got my point?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Umaji, for taking your time out.
Bye.
And
All the best to everybody.
yeah, thank you so much. If we need you later also, I'll reach out to you.
Sure, sure, sure.
Thank you so much, Umaji. Thank you all the participants who have been joining all the sessions. Yeah, so we hope that whatever knowledge is shared, that comes into practicality as well. So see you soon for another sessions as well. Thank you, Umaji.
Bye.
Bye. Jai Gurudev.
Hey, Gurudev.